Hello, every single buddy, and welcome to the June devlog, the July devlog for Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. And so, for this one, I wanted to talk a lot about what I've been doing for the videos that I've been releasing. And so, if you didn't know it, I've been basically trying to release as many videos as I can or could on the different finished locations of each area. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to kind of get them checked off in my mind. I wanted to kind of get it where I said, okay, this area is done now, I'm happy with this area and I can move on to the next one. And so I figured today what would be a good topic of conversation would be to go and show you the different areas and talk about what I was thinking while I'm making them and what I'm thinking of doing past here. And so with all that stuff out of the way, let's get started. And so the first area I want to show you is the park area. I had a lot of fun doing the park area, and I figured that it would be a pretty good place to start, since this is one of the ones that I was most excited about. I wanted to start where I was excited. I wanted to do the park first. And so with the park, my main goal was to add a lot more life to it, a lot more wind, a lot more energy to the whole area. And the way that I went and did that is I used an asset pack that was free for the month at the time from Epic Games, and I went and used it to add in all these trees. And so all these trees had built-in wind for it, so it basically did the job for me. But I went and added it in so that one, they wouldn't block the camera, but two, so they're in a place that they'd look interesting. And so hopefully I've managed to achieve that. I've also went and changed the textures on the floor. So if you see on the floor over here, there's a little bit of a shine to the textures, right? And so you can see here that it's got a lot more of a shine to it. It's got a lot more of a realism to it. And originally, I did a big dumb and I only used the default texture for it, and the result of that was that it looked very plain and very flat. And so what I went and did, and I'll see if I can remember this now, I went and added in a roughness, a metallic, an ambient occlusion and a normal map to the whole texture for every single floor texture in the game. And that took a long time, but I eventually got there, and the textures looked a lot better for it, and I'll show you some of the other textures later on. But yeah, that was the main thing that I went and changed. And so yeah, that's basically the park area, and I'm quite happy with that. And just on a side note, if the shadows look a little bit crazy, it's because I've got to set back the shadow, the time of day kind of length, so it's going a little bit crazy, a little bit fast right now. So if you see like the time of day going a bit faster, then that'll be why. But yeah, moving on from here, I guess I'll go and show you the next area. And so if we go up here over to let's go to the bridge area. Why not? Let's go to the bridge area. And so if we check out the bridge area again, there's the upgraded textures. Like as you can see, it looks a lot more 3D now rather than it being flat, if you can see on these side bits here. And I wanted to go and do that again just to make it so it looked more alive, a little bit more interesting to look at, and it looked a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. And talking about aesthetically pleasing stuff, I've actually been looking into the rule of three. And so if you didn't know it, the rule of three is the idea that a scene looks good when, and this is probably like a vast reduction of the complexity that goes into it, but the basic thought behind it is that the rule of three basically means if you have two objects close to each other and then one object far away from it, or reasonably more further away from it, it'll give the impression that it looks more pleasing to the eye. Don't ask me why it looks more pleasing to the eye, it just kind of does. And so I kind of use that technique for each of the areas over here. And so you'll see there'll be two pieces of grass over here, and then there'll be a rock over there, so it'll be three there. And then if you go down here, you can see that there's two pieces of grass here, one piece of grass over here, so two objects close to each other, and then one object a bit further away, right? And then I've got another one here where it's two pieces of grass, barrel, two pieces of grass, barrel. And I just kind of went in that kind of vein, you know, and it turned out quite well, and I think it looked a lot better than having things clumped together, which they kind of were a little bit more, you know. And from that, I also added in some graffiti, you know, added in some clues. And whenever you see like messages like this, or some of the messages I'll show you later on, they basically just mean that there's a secret around. And so in this case, it's what's behind the grave. It means there's a secret behind the grave that you can go and find. And I wanted to make it so that, you know, you could find secret cards in the game through following these clues, and I think that'd be pretty cool. And so yeah, that's just a little bit of idea that I had. It'd be pretty cool to go and do that, and I'm thinking that'd be quite the interesting thing to go and do. So if you find secrets in the game, hidden messages as they were, it can lead you to finding cards and hidden items in the game. And so yeah, the final area I want to show you is, or the second to final, let's say. I'll show you one more after this, but the second to final area is in fact the clock tower. And so with the clock tower, I went and added some more textures, you know, some more interesting textures. I added more divisions between each area, as you can see. So you got this big old texture going down here, this big old floor, and then you got another one parting the Kyber Corp, just to make it look as if it's its own area, you know. Did the same thing with this one, so that it's got a parting, so you can see it's leading onto the alleyway and then onto the graveyard. And speaking of the graveyard, I also went and added this tree in there, messed around with the kind of overlay that you have, so it looks a little bit more desaturated, and basically just went and, you know, I wanted and see if I could, you know, really build up the area, make it look a lot more interesting, and just kind of go over everything with a second paint of coat, if you like, you know. And that's basically the whole goal that I've been trying to do, is going, okay, you know, how interesting can I make this area? Can I boost it up any? Can I make it look any more interesting? You know, can I make it look any more cooler? And that's what I've been trying to do this month. That's basically the mission, you know, for this month, and I think it's worked out quite well. Nothing much more to show over here, but I'll quickly show you Grandpa's Toy Shop, because I haven't shown you that one in a while. And this is the final version of Grandpa's Toy Shop. Again, just the texture's been done over again. You know, there wasn't that much to do on this one, but I figured it would be good to see the little bits of dirt. Hopefully it comes out through YouTube's compression. But yeah, there's little bits of dirt on the floor through the tiles, and then you've got a change of the poster there. So instead of Yugioh World Championship, it's Dual Monsters World Championship, which I think is a little bit more lore friendly, right? And so yeah, that's basically what I've done for this area. And so moving on to here, to the last area I want to show you. The last area that I want to show you is the art gallery. And so if I go over to the art gallery real quick, just show you quick, this is going off what I was talking about before, in that I wanted to add it where you could find secrets in the game, and these letterings over here are secrets, so that if you can figure out what they mean in Japanese, you can then find a secret in the game where it'll unlock a card for you. And so if you decipher this through Google Translate or whatever, then you can find a secret location in the game where you can get a hidden rare card, which I'm planning to be slightly above whatever level you're at the time. And so yeah, going inside of here, I've also got Japanese writing on here. The main difference with this one though is that this is the god cards, right, the god card tablets, and I figured that it'd be good to go and add their names onto here, into the inscriptions. And so, you know, what that would mean is the left one would be Obelisk, the middle one would be the Winged Dragon of Ra, and the last one would be Slifer, I think. And so yeah, that's basically that area. Again, just gone over the floor texture as I've added them all in, so you got a little bit more of a shadow going on, which I thought was pretty cool. And so yeah, I could show you more areas, but I pretty much got them all uploaded. And so I figured what I'd do instead, just to be a better use of time, if you like, is that I'll go and show you what I'm planning to do on past here. And so hopefully I recorded this a few times, and every time I recorded it, the keys sounded like really loud, so I had to record it again. But hopefully, you can't hear the keys too loudly. I'm hoping. But anyways, the last thing I wanted to show you that I'm going to be continuing working on and what I'm planning to do past this month, going on to the next month, is I'm working on making the boards for each area. And I'm doing this so I have a base to work off for the card mechanics. And so next month I'm going to be starting the card mechanics, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a sec. But what I've gone and done is I've remade the original basic default field that you can have in the original Yugioh The Sacred Cards, and I've gone and remade it in Photoshop so that you can go and play on it, you know, with a similar kind of theme. So yeah. So yeah, I figured that'd be pretty cool. But going off from that, I'm planning on doing the card mechanics next month. That's going to be the goal for next month. I'm thinking of doing the card mechanics, and I'm kind of stuck on what to prioritize, I suppose. I have a choice. I'll just show you quick. I have a choice between doing the CCG toolkit, and I'll probably have some gameplay on in the background of what it looks like. But the CCG toolkit is what I was originally going to use. And this toolkit is basically what you can use if you want to make a card game. It basically gives you a head start, right? But the problem with it, the main problem with it, is that it's geared towards Hearthstone, which sucks because I wanted to make it about Yu-Gi-Oh! But with this one, in order to kind of repurpose the toolkit, make it more, you know, to do with Yu-Gi-Oh, you'd have to learn the toolkit in its entirety, and that's not just learning the different drop downs and all the different options you have. It's learning the blueprints, the coding behind the toolkit, which is going to take a really long time to learn. And so I don't know if it's worth just making the card game from scratch. You know, I have a lot of thinking to do. Nothing's final yet, I'm still thinking, but it seems to me as if learning the entire toolkit of someone else's code and then changing that to be purposed towards Yu-Gi-Oh, with all the complicated mechanics that Yu-Gi-Oh has, it might be worth making it. It might be worth making it from scratch, just so I can go and, you know, really know what I'm making, you know, and I won't have any hidden surprises on things that break because I've tried to change something. Because that's the main problem, is if I change the toolkit in its actual blueprint, in its actual visual code, the problem that comes across is that it'll break a lot of things. It'll make things break so that I'll have to learn the whole toolkit in all of its insides, all of its messy insides, in order to change it, and that might take a very, 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 very long time. And so I could do that, but I'm thinking about making everything from scratch. I have a lot of thinking to do, and I'll figure it out. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I'm happy with the field itself, and I'm going to be using it, but next month, in the next devlog, I'll let you guys know what I've decided to do, and I'll let you see the beginnings of the mechanics of the card game, since we've pretty much done all of the visuals for the whole of the game right now, all of the modeling. That's what I'm going to be doing next, the card mechanics, and to see how far I can go with that, and to see if I can figure out how to remake the mechanics for Yu-Gi-Oh, which hopefully I can do. But yeah, I think with all that being said, I'll probably leave off there. And so thank you guys for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this kind of content, then subscribing is always a very cool thing to do. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be interesting, and next month I'll let you guys know how the mechanics turned out and what I decided to do, what kind of workflow I decided to go for, and just kind of see what I can do from there. But I'll definitely have something sorted by next month. You know, we'll figure it out by next month. But yeah, I think with all that being said, I'll leave it off there. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.